Hello there. I'm thirdmango. I'm a culture and media sociologist, locally professional comedian, and Twitch streamer, and I'm giving it a go at attempting to start a YouTube channel. A little bit about me musically. I am someone who loves musical complexity, music that can surprise me. I don't comprehend lyrics very often, and so a lot of my criteria will be based around the music more so than the lyrical content. I don't really listen to music for the lyrics and can be perfectly happy with a strong instrumental, but I find the voice to be a really interesting instrument when done well, which is why I'm starting with what is at the moment my album of the year. That album, which is currently sitting at number one on my 2026 list, is the incredibly ambitious work You by Underscores. April Harper Gray, also known as Underscores, is the genius behind this album, and it's her third album behind 2021's Fishmonger and 2023's Wall Socket. And I will say, I'm not as knowledgeable on her other albums. This was my first stop into her sound, and it was an incredible introduction. She's going to be opening for Charlie XCX this year, and it's absolutely deserved. I'm someone who awards ambition and the ability to mix sounds together to make something pleasing, and Underscores does this in spades on this album. Sounds I didn't expect to work absolutely work. One of my favorite albums of the 2000s was Royce and Murphy's Ruby Blue, which does a lot of wild choices, and this album feels like a good predecessor to that, as she is just making such interesting and groovy songs. I also want to talk about the sneaky crescendos. This album does crescendos in a way where it doesn't just feel like the music is ramping up, but it almost sneaks up on you. But it's clearly happening when you go back and look for it. She does an incredible job of building you up, getting you to trust the vision, and then ramping it up into something truly magical. Every song on this album feels purposeful and tries to do slightly different things across the soundscape. She never overwears her welcome. I'm going to highlight a couple of tracks. The first is the first track, Tell Me You Want It. 5 stars. Goddamn. The pure soundscape that happens in the song is music to my ears. The way she perfectly blends her lyrical styling into a mesh of about 4 or 5 sounds is a delight to the ears. This is the exact kind of music that really hits my brain. This is an incredible introduction to her and the best way to start off an album. It even deconstructs there near the end, which is a really ambitious choice. It flows perfectly into the second track music, which starts off good, but goodness, around 2 minutes in, it ramps up into such a banger. The final minute of this song does such a good crescendo that I can't help but love the song. The fourth song on the album, The Peace, in the last 2 weeks of me listening to this album, has become consistently my favorite. The backing track of this is good enough without the words on top of it, but then bring in her singing ability, and it becomes a good predecessor to my favorite Imogen Heap songs. For someone who is blending sounds consistently, she also knows when to drop the sounds and just go with her voice. Bridge that into the fifth song, Innuendo, and this song has a breathing sound, like when an artist does that, like it. I love anytime an artist does that. And the transitions in this one are perhaps my favorite on the album. The transition from chorus into verse has such an interesting impact to the song. Adore it. The pure energy coming off this song is infectious. The sixth song, Love Field, I mentioned Imogen Heap before, and this one ramps up in a way that Imogen Heap did. The lyrics at about 2 minutes in, when it crescendos, feels like it could be among Imogen Heap's best songs. And finally, the ninth song, the final song, Wish You Well, is a fantastic end to the album. This one even pops into some K-pop vibes at first. This song is oddly the one I have the easiest time understanding the lyrics, and it's the closest to being a ballad. It also does a really good job of dropping off of the album. It's a fitting end to this musical journey. Even Body Feeling, the eighth track, is my least favorite song on the album, and it's still a banger. It shows the versatility of the album, that she can do each of these different types of songs while still inhabiting the same genre. It's a masterclass in that this song doesn't hit as well for me, and yet I'm still fully on board. The best contemporaries I can bring to it are people like Imogen Heap and Royce and Murphy, but also shades of Dragonette and early Janelle Monáe, artists who really tried and swung for the fences, and that's simply a delight. This is by far my album of the year, and I can only think of one other album that I'm anticipating, which would even come close. This album is a complex musical delight, and it shines on every spot for me. This is essentially one of my first introductions into the world of hyperpop. If there are contemporaries I should be listening to, feel free to comment below on albums I should be listening to. I first was recommended this album on my Twitch stream, which you can find on twitch.com/thirdmango. We play a music guessing game there called What's a Music? And I have a channel point redemption, which allows viewers to recommend albums to me. And this is one of those recommendations. An album I never would have thought to listen to myself had it not been for a viewer who really knows my taste in music. You can drop in any Sunday or Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and that's when we play What's a Music? It's a essentially think pub quiz music in which we are guessing each other's songs. So feel free to like and subscribe here. And at the moment, this is only sort of the beginning of me essentially attempting a YouTube channel. My plan is, once I sort of get my bearings intact, is to do full discographies. I have about 5 bands right now that I have scripts for, to do sort of a full discography of my impressions of each of their particular albums. And then also, I plan on doing more album reviews, and then also year lists. I have year lists for every year going back to 1950. And so eventually I'd like to do sort of a series that talks about each year in music and what really hits for me. So, if you like this, please come back if you feel so inclined. And yeah, thanks for watching. Good night.